about 2,500 years ago, there was one brave woman who risked her life to save her people. This is the story of Esther. Although it is a tradition to boo when you hear Haman's name, before our play, we're going to ask you not to boo so that you can hear everybody's lines the whole time. King Ahasuerus ruled over a large kingdom and had his castle in the capital called Shushan. He was not a bad king because he let lots of different kinds of people live in the kingdom, and they were allowed to believe in their own god or gods. So there were some Jewish people in the kingdom who had been taken away from Israel about 100 years earlier. King Ahasuerus wasn't a very good king, though, because he didn't work very hard to help take care of his people. He was more concerned with having great parties. Our story begins at the king's biggest party ever. He had visitors that he really wanted to impress, so he had his cooks prepare the best foods. They started with pizza with clams on top. Everyone started eating the yummy food. And the king asked his guests, "Isn't this the best pizza with clams on top?"
Isn't this the best pizza with clams on top? It's good pizza with clams on top, but not the best. What?
The king was so upset. He thought maybe his guests would be more impressed with the next course. Cucumbers and carrots with tasty salt. All of the guests picked up the crunchy vegetables and started to eat. And then the king asked his guests what they thought about it.
Isn't this the best cucumbers and carrots you ever had? It's good cucumbers and carrots, but it's not the best cucumbers and carrots with tasty salt on top. What?
Ooh, the king was getting angry. Perhaps they would like the dessert. A bunch of strawberry jello and a big giant chocolate cake with whipped cream. Everyone took their fork and took a really big bite and started eating. And again, the king asked, "Isn't this the best dessert?"
Isn't this the best dessert? It's good dessert, but it's not the best dessert we've ever had. What?
The king was so upset. Maybe they would be more impressed by his entertainment. So he called for his gymnast, Super Sam.
Super Sam! I will do cartwheels today.
The king really wanted to impress them, so he called for his next entertainer, his basketball wizard.
Basketball wizard! I will do best dribbling tricks for you.
The king really wanted to impress those guests, and he thought of the best dancer in the kingdom. So he called for his messengers.
Messengers! Yes, my king.
He told the messengers to ask Queen Vashti to dance for his party.
Ask Queen Vashti to dance for my party.
The messengers went over to the queen's chambers.
Queen Vashti, the king wants you to dance for his party. I'll come this time, but this is the only time.
The messengers went back to their spots, and Queen Vashti bowed, bravo, and danced for the party. The king knew that Queen Vashti was such such a great dancer. He really wanted to impress the guests, so he called for his messengers again.
Messengers! Yes, my king.
He asked them to please ask Queen Vashti to dance again.
Please ask Queen Vashti to dance for my party again.
The messengers went back to the queen's chambers.
Queen Vashti, the king wants you to dance again. I'm not coming. Every night in bed, he wants me to dance. I'm not coming.
The messengers were shocked, and they went to the king to tell him that news.
King, the queen says she won't come. What?
The king was so upset. He told the messengers to tell the queen if she won't dance, she won't be the queen.
If she won't dance, she won't be the queen.
And the messengers went back to tell the queen the message.
Queen, the king says if you don't dance, you won't be the queen. I'm not coming. I'm busy reading.
Queen Vashti told them another surprising message, and the messengers were so shocked. But they went back to tell the king the news.
King, the queen says she won't come. What?
The messengers sat down, and the king called for his guards.
Guards! Yes, my king.
The king told the guards to take Queen Vashti's crown and banish her from the kingdom.
Take Queen Vashti's crown and banish her from the kingdom.
The guards stomped over to the queen's chambers, took off her crown, and banished her from the kingdom.
That's a little weird.
The guards went back to their place in the castle, and the party actually continued for several more days and nights, until finally it was over. The guests went back to their homes in the village, and the entertainers went back to their homes. After a while, the king was lonely. He decided he would have to get a new queen, so he called for his messengers.
Messengers! Yes, my king.
He told the messengers, I'm going to have a contest to find a new queen.
I'm going to have a contest to find a new queen.
The messengers went out to the village to make the announcement.
Everybody listen. The king says he's going to have a party to find a new queen. All smart, beautiful new women should come to the palace.
The messengers went back to the castle, and Mordecai, a Jewish man in the village, heard the announcement and ran to tell his cousin Esther.
Esther, there's going to be a contest to find the new queen.
Esther was so excited.
Wow.
Mordecai told her she should go to the castle.
Go to the castle, but don't tell anybody that you're Jewish. I won't tell.
So Mordecai went back to his home in the village, and Esther joined many other smart, talented, beautiful women at the castle. The king went to meet each young woman.
You look smart and beautiful. What can you do? I can jump super high.
The king moved back after and said, please show me.
Please show me.
Bravo! The king went to meet the next young woman.
You look smart and beautiful. What can you do? I can hula hoop. Please show me.
Bravo! The king went to meet the next young woman.
You look smart and beautiful. What can you do? I always tell the truth.
The king was very impressed by that. He said, wow,
Wow!
He thought about how important that might be, and he asked the young woman her name.
What's your name? Esther.
He took Esther's hand and moved her a little bit to the side, and the rest of the young women went back to their home in the village. He held up Esther's hand and announced, "This is Queen Esther."
This is Queen Esther.
Bravo! The king took Esther back to her part of the castle, where she got her own crown, and sat down. The king went back to his part of the castle. Queen Esther enjoyed her life in the castle, and things went well. She also learned a very important rule. Never go in to see the king unless you are invited, under penalty of death. One day, Mordecai was on his way to work at the castle. He overheard the king's advisor and cook planning to kill him.
Let's kill the king. Let's do it tonight.
Mordecai was shocked. He ran to the castle, spoke to the guards, who immediately got him in to see the king.
King, I overheard 2 bad guys planning to kill you tonight. What?
The king was so upset. But first, he asked the man's name.
What's your name? Mordecai.
And then he called for his messengers.
Messengers! Yes, my king.
He told the messengers to write Mordecai's name in the book of good deeds.
Write Mordecai's name in the book of good deeds.
They wrote down his name and went back to their part of the castle, and Mordecai went back to his home in the village. And then the angry king called for his guards.
Guards! Yes, my king.
The king told the guards to arrest the bad guys and banish them from the kingdom.
Arrest the bad guys and banish them from the kingdom.
They stomped over to the bad guys, took them away forever. Now, the king needed to pick a new advisor. And this time he said, "I choose Haman."
I choose Haman. Yay!
Haman was thrilled with the idea of being so important in the kingdom. He even made a rule that any time he was out in the village, everyone would have to bow down to him. Just to show off, he went out into the village. He announced, "I am the king's advisor."
I am the king's advisor. Bow down to me.
And then he pointed his hand at Mordecai and said, "Why won't you bow?"
Why won't you bow? Because I didn't do it, and I only bow down to one God.
Haman shook his fist at Mordecai and yelled at him, "I'll get you for this."
I'll get you for this.
He stomped back to the castle, and the villagers relaxed. Haman was so angry, he didn't just want to get revenge at Mordecai, he decided he would get rid of all of the Jewish people in the kingdom. He made a new law that the Jewish people would be killed, and then, to pick the day, he wrote numbers on little pieces of paper, lots, or pur in Hebrew, which is how we get the name Purim for the holiday, for those pieces of paper with the number. So he called out, "The Jews will be killed,"
On the 13th of Adar.
and he laughed his evil laugh. He took the new law to the king to have him sign it. The king didn't even look at it. He just wrote his name on it and called for his messengers.
Messengers! Yes, my king.
The king told the messengers to announce the new law in the village.
Announce the new law in the village.
So the messengers went out to make the announcement.
Everybody listen. The Jews will be killed on the 13th of Adar.
The people in the village were shocked. The messengers went back to their home in the castle, and Mordecai rushed to go and speak to Esther.
Esther, the Jews will be killed on the 13th of Adar.
Esther said, "That's terrible."
That's terrible.
Mordecai told her, "You must speak to the king to get him to change the law."
You must speak to the king to get him to change the law.
Esther explained, "I can't."
I can't.
And then she explained, "Anyone who goes to see the king without being invited will be put to death."
Anyone who goes to see the king without being invited is put to death.
Mordecai said, "You must do it."
You must do it.
And then he said, please save the Jewish people.
Please save the Jewish